Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be making the bed platform for the Transit. For those who are visiting for the first time, I'm doing a DIY conversion of an all-wheel drive Ford Transit 148-inch wheelbase mid-roof. And I've already completed the ceiling, the subfloor, so you can check previous videos for that. But in this video I'm going to be building the bed platform from Ikea parts. And the main requirements is to be able to sleep crosswise, east to west as it is sometimes called. Because the van is not the extended version, I don't want to lose length basically. I want to still have enough room for a kitchen, some storage, a bench seat and so on. So the system is designed around these Ikea telescopic beams. They're normally used only in the center of the bed, but in this design we use 3 of them, one in the middle and then one at each end. And as you can see where they taper off, they actually have sort of hooks. And these hooks will grab in this channel here, which is what IKEA calls the Sektion rails. They are used to mount kitchen cabinets. So they come pre-drilled with a number of holes. They're 2 meters long. You can cut them to length. They're fairly soft metal. So I'm going to have a strip of plywood along the sheet metal here. Hoping you can see this. And then on the plywood will be bolted this rail, and again the beam will hook into it at each end. The reason I'm using plywood to go into the sheet metal and then bolting the rail through it using these T-nuts is just to try to minimize as much as possible heat bridging. The sheet metal will always be cold and I want to avoid transmitting it to the longer metal IKEA beams. So the wood will provide some form of insulation. In order to avoid a thermal bridge, the T-nut on the back side of the plywood will be recessed inside the wood. The bolt itself will actually be shorter than this, it won't come out. So the way I'm going to be building my bed platform is with a piece of half-inch plywood bolted into the wall of the van. And then on top of that, I'll have the IKEA bracket bolted into the plywood. And the IKEA beams will fit in those rails. Now I have 2 objectives in building this. First, I cannot waste any space because the van is not super wide and we want to sleep east-west. That's why I'm sticking with half-inch plywood and nothing thicker. The other objective is to avoid thermal bridging. So the IKEA rail cannot be bolted directly into the sheet metal because the cold from the van would transfer to the IKEA rail and then to the metal support beams. So on the driver's side there were enough holes that I could put T-nuts where I needed, more or less. On the passenger side there's nothing, so I had to drill 3 holes and place T-nuts, and you can see those T-nuts here, like that's just one. So this is what it looks like once everything in place. So you can see the plywood and then the IKEA rail. And I've used 2 bolts everywhere where there's going to be a cross beam, the telescopic beams. So 2 bolts near the front, 2 near the middle beam, and then at the end there's just one, and it's going to be plenty strong. And now with the two beams in place, the third one will go at the very end near the doors. So here we are, we've got a bed platform taking shape. And with one set of slots in place, so everything seems to fit nicely. So at the end here, where the last support beam will be, I made this plate out of plywood using the same principle as earlier. It falls flush here with the door gasket. So later I can finish it the way I want. I don't want to think about that right now. And on the inside it is flush as well with the metal pillar. So when I go to finish this pillar on the inside, that piece falls properly. So it's held in place by an M8 bolt at the top and an M6 at the bottom. Those are mounted in T-nuts that I put into factory holes. So again, no drilling. I try to drill the least amount of holes as possible. And then now what I have to do is just to mount an Ikea piece of wall bracket somewhere here, so that that last beam can hook on it, and then do the same on the other side. From the front of the van looking towards the rear doors, this is what the bed platform looks like at this point. I'm not completely done, but I've progressed quite a bit, so I'm gonna try to show you details. The slats are held in place laterally by this square aluminum tubing. They can't move back and forth because there's a screw here and one at the other end that puts tension on the straps and keeps them in place. This is what it looks like at the other end by the rear door. You can see the plywood that's holding the bracket in place and the screw that's preventing the slats from moving. Now there's just one issue. It's because at the rear there are pillars. I don't have room for the slats towards the head and the foot of the bed. So here I'm planning to cut a piece of plywood to just fit in the gap. There's no weight on that piece anyways, because it's the as I said, just the feet and the head. So the bed platform is completely finished now. I didn't use plywood for the end. I just use one of the slats not attached to the others through the strap. It kind of floats on a screw here. I'm gonna try to show you if I can. So it can be removed easily, but it's held in place. And at the other end, I made a piece of plywood and cut a slot in it so that the last slat is held in place as well, but is removable. When I designed this bed platform, I wanted to be able to disassemble the whole thing and remove all the components in a fairly short time in case I want to carry large and long items in the van. At the end, I'll still be able to. So this is how it works. And this is it. In a minute or two, everything's been removed. And I've got all the space to carry large items. Well, this is it for this video. I hope you found it interesting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And don't forget to click like and leave a comment. Bye for now.